find the Fourier integral representation or just Fourier integral of function fx is equal to 1 for mod x is less than 1 and it is 0 for mod x is greater than 1. Okay, so let us start with the solution. We have asked to find the Fourier integral, right? It is not mentioned whether to find Fourier sine or cosine integral. So the choice is ours. If you are able to find the nature of function, if you are able to check the nature of function, and if the given function is even, then we find Fourier cosine integral. If the function is odd, then we find Fourier sine integral representation, right? So here it is asked to find Fourier integral. So let us start with the formula of Fourier integral. Fourier integral representation is, what is the formula? F of x is equals to 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity, right? F of lambda e to the power minus I lambda x d lambda, right? Don't get confused with the variable of integration. Here the variable of integration is lambda, isn't it? And x is constant there. So where f of lambda will be integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u e to the power I lambda u du. I think it must be plus here and here it is minus. Please check the formulas, right? Is it the correct formula? Hello?
Substitute x instead of u.
Okay, so before substitution, okay, we'll write in terms of x minus infinity to infinity f of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx, right? And now we have to break this interval minus infinity to infinity according to the function given. We have given the function in two parts. Mod x is less than 1 and mod x is greater than 1. So you should know the definition of these mods, modulus of, or these inequalities. You should know the definition of these inequalities. What this inequality says? Mod x is less than 1 means what? Yes? What does it mean? What is the definition of this inequality? Mod x is less than 1 means x lies between minus 1 to 1, right? And mod x is greater than 1 means x is greater than 1 and x is less than minus 1, isn't it? So these two definitions we are having. So mod x is less than 1 means the interval is minus 1 to 1, and mod x is greater than 1 means two intervals we are having. X is greater than 1 means 0 is less than, 1 is less than, x is less than infinity, and x is less than minus 1 means what? Minus infinity is less than x is less than minus 1, isn't it? You can check. We have break the minus infinity to infinity interval into three parts: minus infinity to minus 1, minus 1 to 1, and then 1 to infinity, isn't it? 1 to infinity. So let us write this formula by dividing this interval into these three subintervals. So therefore, f of lambda will be integral from minus infinity to minus 1, f of x e raised to minus I lambda x dx, plus integral from minus 1 to 1, f of x e raised to minus I lambda x dx, plus integral from 1 to infinity, f of x e raised to minus I lambda x dx, isn't it? But in these two intervals, the function value is 0. You can check. If you are still not able to get the definition, let me write the simplified form of function given. F of x is given to be 1 in mod x is less than 1. Mod x is less than 1 means x lies between minus 1 to 1. So minus 1 is less than x is less than 1. And it is 0 for mod x is greater than 1. Mod x greater than 1 means these two intervals. So minus infinity is less than x is less than minus 1 and minus and 1 is less than x is less than infinity. You can check these two intervals. Is it? So according to the function, we have break this interval into 3 sub-intervals, right? And now see, in minus infinity to infinity, what is the function value? Fx is given to be minus infinity to minus 1. The function is 0, isn't it? And in 1 to infinity also, the function value is 0. 1 to infinity function value is 0. So therefore, first and third integral will be 0 directly. And in minus 1 to 1, the function value is 1. So therefore, f of lambda is equal to minus 1 to 1, f of x is 1 into e to the power minus I lambda x dx. Integrate it now in these limits. So e to the power minus I lambda x upon minus I lambda from minus 1 to 1. So at upper limit, it will be e raised to minus I lambda x minus, and this minus will be plus. Okay, this is minus I lambda here. At upper limit x equal to 1, it will be just minus I lambda, right? And minus minus plus, at x is equal to minus 1 into minus 1 plus, it will be, so e raised to I lambda upon I lambda, isn't it? So this I can rewrite as a f of lambda is equal to, if I take 1 upon lambda common outside, this is positive and this is negative, isn't it? So e to the power I lambda minus e to the power minus I lambda upon I, right? This I. If I multiply and divide by 2, then this is the formula of what? This is nothing but
Sine or cos.
sine of, correct, this is the formula of sine of lambda.
I
So
think
e raised to I theta, right? Minus e raised to minus I theta. So that is sine of theta. So 2 by lambda sine of lambda. That is your required Fourier transform. But we have asked to find the Fourier integral. So we have to substitute this f of lambda into its inverse transform or into its integral. So therefore, f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of lambda e to the power I lambda x d lambda, that is 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of lambda is this 2 by pi, 2 by lambda sine lambda e to the power I lambda x d lambda, and that is your final integral representation. Don't need to proceed further. This will be a final answer. This is a Fourier integral representation of a function given. Please ask if any doubt. Or else take the next third example. Find the Fourier sine and cosine integrals of e to the power minus mx, where m is given to be positive. Okay, now you have to solve this. Sine and cosine we have asked to evaluate. So let us evaluate cosine, right? Sine is for homework. I'm going to ask to any one of you the solution. So you have to solve individually. Find Fourier sine and cosine integral. Okay, we have not asked to find, we have to prove that. We have asked to prove that, right? And with the help of Fourier sine and cosine integral, actually. So first of all, let us find the Fourier cosine integral, and from that you will get the required thing. Because we know sine and cosine, sine integral is in terms of sine and cosine integral is in terms of cos. So let us find the cosine integral first of all, and then we'll get the required thing. Please ask if any doubt. Day by day attendance is getting decreased. I don't know the reason. But remember, I'm not going to revise the topics. Remember, we are moving very slowly. Nehul, question is find the Fourier sine and cosine integrals. Find Fourier sine and cosine integrals of fx is equal to e to the power minus mx. Fx you can see on the board. Find the Fourier sine and cosine integrals of fx equals to e to the power minus mx. Okay. See, we are taking your attendance also daily. Daily attendance we are having. So on that basis only, you'll be getting marks for the attendance in your term works, remember. We have Excel sheets for your attendance from the very first day. Yash Gupta, unmute your mic. Hello, Yash. Yash Gupta, unmute your mic, please. Hello. Tejas Bijwe. Tejas, unmute your mic, please. Tejas Bijwe. I am going to treat these students separately later on while considering their term works assignments and while allotting their marks also. Because I don't know why these people are not interested to reply. Is there, if there is any technical problem, you can tell, isn't it? Raj Girase, are you there? Raj, unmute your mic, please.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any problem? Is there any problem with the formula of Fourier transforms?
No, sir.
Okay. So, what is the formula to find the Fourier cosine integral? Tell me the formula.
Cosine integral.
Hmm?
Okay, so 2 by pi
Mm-hmm.
limit from 0 to
Mm-hmm.
x into cos x d lambda.
D lambda, right? Where that FCF lambda is Fourier cosine transform.
Yeah, it is
Cosine
cosine
transform.
transform.
Okay. So here, if we check the nature of function, first of all, it is not necessary actually to check the nature of function, but let me know that if we check the nature of this function, whether it is even or odd, what can you tell? Whether it is even or odd?
Here,
It is even. Is this function even? Raj?
f of minus, no, odd.
I don't think it is odd also.
Hello.
Please check once. If we replace x by minus x, does it retain the
Then
negative
it
of
will
original
be,
function minus of f of x?
it is plus of f of x.
Uh, no, it is not plus of f of x also. Check once. What does that means? When we replace x by minus x, if it retains the same original function, then it will be even function, right? So if we replace here x by minus x, then that minus minus will be plus, na? And that function is not our original function, Raj. That function is not our original function because we are getting e to the power plus mx, and that is not our original function. So that is not even function. And if we get f of x equal to minus of f of x, negative of the original function, then that would be odd. So here it is neither even nor odd function. Am I right?
Okay, sir.
Anyways,
Yeah.
it is not necessary here because in particular we have asked to evaluate sine and cosine integrals. So here don't need to check the nature of function. Directly you can start with the formula. Fourier cosine integral and its transform. So what is the Fourier cosine transform we are getting here? Raj, have you calculated Fourier cosine transform? Have you solved?
Sir, I have calculated sine transform.
Sine transform, okay. Okay, fine. All right. Because actually I have given sine for homework.
It is
Mm-hmm.
uh, so cosine, then cosine it will be um, cosine it will be minus m upon m square plus lambda square.
Minus m upon. Uh-huh.
Minus m upon m square plus lambda square. Cosine.
Okay. Okay, and substitute that transform into its integral and check whether we are getting the required result or not. Because we have asked to evaluate
Okay, sir.
what? We have asked to show that integral from 0 to infinity cos of lambda x upon lambda square plus m square d lambda equal to pi upon 2m e to the power minus mx.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm solving on the board. Please check the calculations. Thank you, Raj. All right.
Okay, sir.
So the Fourier cosine integral representation is f of x is equals to 2 by pi integral from 0 to infinity fc of lambda cos of lambda x d lambda. This is cosine integral formula where this fc of lambda is cosine transform, which is integral from 0 to infinity f of x cos of lambda x dx. Directly I have written in terms of x instead of writing in terms of u, isn't it? Now substitute the given function fx. We have given the function fx as a e to the power minus mx, where m is always positive given, and cos of lambda x dx. And now we have the standard formula to integrate this, isn't it? E to the power ax cos bx. What that formula is? E to the power minus mx upon a square. What is a? Minus m. So minus m ka square will be plus m square plus b square. What is b there? B is lambda. So lambda square d, okay, into a cos, because as it is cos, we start with a cos. So minus m cos lambda x, and since the integration of cos is plus, so plus b sine bx. So b is lambda, so lambda sine lambda x, and the integration from 0 to infinity, isn't it? And now substitute upper and lower limits. So at upper limit x is equal to infinity, this will be e to the power minus infinity, that will be 0, isn't it? E to the power minus infinity is 0, so 0. And at lower limit, so therefore I'm writing here, therefore f of lambda, fc of lambda is equal to 0 minus, now the function value at lower limit. So x is equal to 0 के लिए e to the power 0 will be 1 upon m square plus lambda square, 1 upon m square plus lambda square into minus m cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So minus m plus lambda sine 0, but sine 0 is 0. So it will be only minus m. So fc of lambda is m upon m square plus lambda square. I think Raj told that minus m upon, but that is wrong, isn't it? It is plus m upon m square plus lambda square. Therefore, the Fourier cosine integral will be what? Fx is equals to 2 upon pi integral from 0 to infinity fc of lambda, where fc of lambda is m upon m square plus lambda square cos of lambda x d lambda. All right. So we have asked to show the value of this integral, isn't it? We have asked to show, okay, just asked to show cos of lambda x upon, therefore I'm writing according to the requirement. We have asked to prove that the value of integral 0 to infinity, I can write this m outside the integration because it is constant, is it? So cos of lambda x upon m square plus lambda square d lambda is equal to this. I am taking to the left hand side. So pi upon 2m, and this fx is nothing but our original function, given function e to the power minus mx, and that is what we have asked to evaluate. So we have asked to prove that, isn't it? That is the required result. You can check. So in this way, you can prove the first part also by finding the Fourier sine integral and its transform. Is that okay? Very easy and very important also. Please ask if any doubt. Okay, so sine part is for homework. We'll go to the next question. I'm sharing the screen again. Write the next question. Question number 4. if fx is equal to sin x in the interval 0 to pi, and it is 0 for x is less than 0 and x is greater than pi, then prove that this, and hence evaluate this. So how do we solve this? How do we get the required result? By finding the sine transform or cosine transform or the normal transform. Tell me. Yes. Think over this. How do we solve this? I'm waiting for your reply. First of all, tell me whether the given function is even or odd. Any one of you.
Odd.
Is it really odd function? Is it odd function?
Yes.
Check. If we replace x by minus x, see, the complete function is odd means what? All the functions should retain the negative of the original one, isn't it? So let me check in front of you whether it is even or odd. See on the board. I hope the board is visible. So what we have given, fx is equal to, let me write here, fx is equal to sine x in the interval 0 to pi, na? In the interval 0 to pi. And it is 0 for x is greater than pi and x is less than 0. Is it correct? Yes. So let us check whether the function is even or odd. So how do we check? We replace x by minus x in the function. So f of minus x will be equals to what? Sine of minus x, but sine of minus theta is minus sine theta, minus sine x. Here also we have to replace x by minus x everywhere. 0 is less than or equal to minus x is less than or equal to pi, and 0 when minus x is greater than pi and minus x is less than 0. Is that okay? That is the first step. Now we will try to get the conditions. We will try to write these conditions on x. So how to get the conditions on x? As it is minus x here, we will multiply throughout the inequality by minus 1 to get x positive, isn't it? So when we multiply the inequality by minus x, what will get? Minus sine of x when negative of 0 is 0. And you might be knowing that whenever we are multiplying by minus or negative to the inequality, those inequality gets reversed. Do you know this? So if I multiply by minus 1 to this inequality, the inequalities get reversed. Reverse means as it is less than or equal to here, the inequality will be reversed, that is greater than or equal to, isn't it? So 0 is greater than or equal to, x is greater than or equal to pi, minus pi, isn't it? Minus pi. And 0 for, here also I am multiplying by minus 1 to this inequality. So x is less than minus pi and x is greater than 0. Now check. Are these intervals, okay, I'm rewriting again. That is minus sine x when minus pi is less than x is less than 0, and 0 when x is less than minus pi and x is greater than 0. Okay, first of all, what is the graph of original function? Let us check. What is the graph of original function? I hope this is visible. So suppose we are here This is 0th position and this is pi, right? So in 0 to pi, the function value is sine x, isn't it? The graph of the function will be sine. What is the graph of function? Sine pi will be 0. So the graph will be like this, right? In 0 to pi, fx is sine, and when x exceeds pi, then the function value will be 0, right? So here it will be 0. And when x is less than 0, the function value will be 0. So this is the graph of function. Is that okay? And now check the minus graph of f of minus x. This is graph of f of minus x. So what is the graph of f of minus? I hope this is visible. That f of minus x is minus of sine x. Minus means reverse of this. So, and it is minus, it is from minus pi to pi. So minus pi will be here. Minus pi to 0. Isn't it? In minus pi to 0, this is minus of sine x. That means like this. Isn't it? And in, for x is less than minus pi, here the function will be 0. And for x is greater than 0, the function will be 0. Now, tell me, if we take the negative of this original function, see what the condition says. If f of minus x is equal to minus of f of x, then the function will be odd. Is it correct? And this is for all x. So if we take negative of original function, negative means the graph will be reversed. So if we take the negative of this function, what that negative is? The same 0 here, and here the graph will get reverse. So this is the graph of, or I'm separately drawing that graph, 0 like this and this 0. Now check whether this graph and this graph is same. This pi here. Are they same? Are they same? Tell me.
No.
These graphs are not same, na? Totally different. So therefore, f of minus x is not equal to minus f of x, remember. And therefore, this function is not odd function.
No, sir.
What?
They are not same.
They are not same. Okay, fine. So that is what I'm trying to say, that usually we are doing the same mistake actually. What the mistake we are doing? We are neglecting this part of the function. And that is the only important. This is actually the domain of the function, isn't it? So that is the important part. So whenever we are replacing x by minus x here, we have to replace here also, and then we'll try to get the conditions on x. Is that okay? Who told me that the function is odd function? Is that okay with this? Please ask if
Yes,
any
sir.
doubt. Okay. So the function is not odd function. I think the function is not even also, right? That not retains the original function. What the definition of original even function? If f of minus of x retains the original function as it is for all x, then that will be an even function. So this function is neither even nor odd. So how do we proceed with this then? But still the function is defined in minus infinity to infinity. X is less than 0 means minus infinity to 0. X is greater than pi means pi to infinity, and 0 to pi. If we combine these three intervals, the given function is defined in minus infinity to infinity. Right? So how do we proceed? Whether to find sine or cosine or the normal? Yes, what do you think? Any one of you? So since here the function is neither, you can write this explanation. Huh? Since the function is neither even nor odd, we will start with what? The standard general formula of Fourier integral and its transform. Right? What is the formula then? What is the standard general formula of Fourier transform?
F of lambda is equal to integration minus infinity to infinity f of u e raised to minus I lambda u
Du. Correct.
du.
Good. Thank you. So we'll start with the transform and its integral to this function. But remember why, that should be clear, because most of the times we are confused to start with the solution, whether to start with the sine transform or cosine transform or normal transform. So that is what the reason. If the given function is defined in the full range, and if we are able to find the nature of the function, then we can apply those subtypes, cosine and sine. But if the function is defined in full range, and if the given function is neither even nor odd, then we have only one option, that is the normal standard general Fourier transform and its integral, remember. So here, so let us start with the Fourier integral of this. Therefore, Fourier integral, exactly the formula. I hope it is clear now. If still there is any doubt, you can ask me later. So f of x is equal to what? 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of lambda e to the power I lambda x d lambda, isn't it? Where this f of lambda is where f of lambda equals to integral from minus infinity to infinity f of lambda f of u e to the power minus I lambda u du. Let me write in terms of x. So minus infinity to infinity f of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx. And let us use now the function given. Our function, I'm not going to write this again. See, this is in 0 to pi. X is greater than pi means what? Pi to infinity, isn't it? If you are not getting what I mean, then please ask me. I can explain in detail. Already I have explained how to write these inequalities. X is greater than pi means pi to infinity, and x is less than 0 means 0 to minus infinity or minus infinity to 0. So let us break this interval according to the function given. So minus infinity to 0 f of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx plus 0 to pi f of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx plus pi to infinity f of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx. All right. So substitute the values of the function given now in minus infinity to 0, the function value is 0. In pi to infinity, the function value is 0. So the first and third integral will be 0. Only the middle integral will be non-zero. And therefore, f of lambda is equal to integral from 0 to pi. Fx is given to be, in this interval, the function value is sine x. So sine of x e to the power minus I lambda x dx. All right, minus I lambda x dx. Therefore, which is equal to integral from 0 to pi e to the power minus I lambda x into sine of x dx. I have just rewrite the integrand by rearranging. Why I have written like this? Because to integrate this, we have the standard formula e raised to ax sine bx wala formula, is it? What is a there? A is minus I lambda and b is 1, right? So therefore, which is equal to e to the power minus I lambda x upon a square, that is minus I lambda ka square plus b square, that is 1 square, into minus I lambda sine, as it is sine, we'll start with sine, minus or a sine bx, that is minus I lambda sine x, minus, because the integration of sine is negative, minus b cos bx. So b is 1 and the whole from 0 to pi. So substitute upper and lower limit now. At x is equal to pi, this will be e to the power minus I lambda pi upon minus I square, that will be minus 1.
1 minus
1
lambda
minus
square.
lambda square. And here minus I lambda sin pi. What is sin pi? Sin pi 0, isn't it? So I'm not going to write. And minus cos pi. What is cos pi? Cos pi is minus 1. So minus 1 into minus 1, isn't it? 1 minus at lower limit. Please check the calculations, right? So at lower limit now, at x is equal to 0, e to the power 0 is 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into, at x is equal to 0, sin 0 will be 0 and cos 0 will be 1. Isn't it? So minus 1. Please check. So therefore, f of lambda equals to e to the power I lambda pi minus I lambda pi upon 1 minus lambda square, and I can write like this. I can take 1 upon 1 minus lambda square common, e to the power minus I lambda pi plus 1. Is that okay? Please check. And now the question is how to get the required part, because we have asked to evaluate, or we have asked to prove that. So how do I get it? Just think over this. First of all, I know that Euler formula in terms of cos and sine. What is the Euler's formula? I'm writing here. E raised to I theta will be cos theta plus I sine theta. And if it is minus, then it will be cos theta minus I sine theta, right? So here theta is lambda pi. You can check. So therefore, e raised to minus I lambda pi is equal to cos of lambda pi minus I sine lambda pi. All right. Therefore, I can substitute this. You can check the proof part. We have given their cos lambda pi and sin lambda pi term. We are trying to get that. F of lambda equal to 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into cos of lambda pi minus I sin lambda pi plus 1. I can combine the real part. This is imaginary term. Therefore, this is a real term, 1 plus cos lambda pi minus I sin lambda pi. This is imaginary term in the form of a minus ib or a plus ib. Please don't get confused with this. All right. So this is my f of lambda, simplified f of lambda. So substitute this f of lambda into its integral. What is the Fourier integral? We have already started with that formula. Integral. Therefore, f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity. Yes. F of lambda e to the power I lambda x d lambda. Please check the formula. All right. Substitute f of lambda there. So 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity. F of lambda is 1 upon lambda square, 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into 1 plus cos lambda pi minus sine of lambda pi, and integration with respect to lambda d lambda. Check. So is it the required part? No. Still we are not getting the required one. Anyways, 1 upon 1 minus lambda square term we are getting here. Yes. How do we proceed? Oh, I'm sorry, exponential term I left. This f of lambda into e to the power, I'm writing here, please don't get confused, e raised to I lambda x d lambda. This into this. Yes? How to proceed further? Now you can check, there is no exponential term there in prove that part. Exponential term है ही नहीं उसमें. But we have here in our calculations. So how to merge that? How to make the use of that exponential term? Yes, of course, with the help of Euler's formula. I know the formula of e raised to I theta. I'm writing here. Since e to the power I lambda x is what? Cos of lambda x plus I sin lambda x, right? E raised to I theta. So first of all, see here, I'm trying to get the value of this expression and then I'll substitute into the integral for the simplicity purpose, okay? F of lambda into this, so that I can multiply their real and imaginary parts. So let us substitute, let us find that value. I'm writing here. Please ask if any doubt. So we are trying to get the value of that. Therefore, f of lambda into e raised to I lambda x will be equals to f of lambda into e to the power I lambda x is cos of lambda x plus I sin lambda x. But f of lambda is this. I'm writing 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into 1 plus cos of lambda pi minus I sin lambda pi and into this bracket. Where do I write there? I'm writing here. Into this cos of lambda pi, lambda x plus I sin lambda x. If you are confused with any step, please ask. I can repeat. Right. Now what we are doing? We'll multiply these two complex numbers. This is also a complex number in the form of a plus ib, and this is also a complex number in the form of a plus ib. And we know the multiplication of two complex numbers. So 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into this into cos of lambda x. So I'm writing 1 into cos lambda x. I'm directly writing actually plus cos of lambda pi into cos lambda x. Please tell me if I make any mistake in the calculation. So this bracket into cos of lambda x plus this bracket into I sin. So I into sin lambda x into 1 plus cos of lambda pi, all right? Minus this term into cos of lambda x minus I into sin lambda x, sin lambda pi into cos of lambda x, right? And minus plus minus, I'm writing here because of the board, minus plus minus I into I square, which is minus 1. So minus minus will be plus sin lambda pi sin lambda x. That's it. Please check. Is that clear? I hope it is clear. So let us check whether. All right. So I can merge these two terms. Cos of lambda pi cos lambda x plus sin lambda pi sin lambda x. This is the formula of what? Cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. क्या होता है? Yes. cos A cos B plus sin A sin B will be equals to
cos A plus B.
cos of A plus B. So cos of lambda x plus cos of lambda pi A plus B or A minus B. What do you think? I think A minus B, na? Cos of A minus B will be cos A cos B plus sin A sin B. Is it correct? Please check. A plus B or A minus B? Hello? Is it A plus B or
A minus B.
A minus B, na? Cos of A minus B will be cos A cos B plus sin A sin B.
Yes, sir.
So that will be cos A minus B. So as lambda is common, I am taking lambda common, pi minus x. You can check, this is what the term we are having in our, prove that part, cos of lambda into pi minus x. You can check. All right, this is how we can proceed. If you write plus here, then we don't have any plus term there. So if you are unable to recall the formulas, at least by trial and error or at least by reverse engineering also, you should know, you should get the required result. Anyways, these two terms we have merged, and I can combine these two by taking I common. So plus I times sine of lambda x plus sine of lambda x cos of lambda pi minus sine lambda pi cos lambda x. Here also we can use the formula sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. What is the formula of sin A cos B minus cos A sin B? Yes. Do we have any formula for this? Sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. I think it is sin of A minus B, na? Anyways, sin is odd function, cos is even function. Anyways, it is lambda pi, so that is constant. Here also lambda pi, so that is constant. Right. So what I'm trying to say, that is 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into cos of lambda x plus cos of lambda into pi minus x plus I into sin lambda x plus sine of lambda into pi minus x, because this is sin A minus B. All right. Now what? How to proceed further? Just think over this. How to get the required result?
Cos A plus cos B one formula.
Cos A plus cos B. Okay, here you mean here cos A cos B, but the whole term we are having in the proof part. So I don't think that we should simplify this. This is the only term we need. You can check. We have the problem with this second term. Am I right? We have the problem with the second term. We don't want this term actually.
So sin lambda pi minus x is equal to minus sin lambda x.
Minus sin?
Lambda x.
Why? You mean you are using sine of pi minus theta?
Yes.
But that is not only sine of pi minus theta. Here the lambda is there. And we don't know about lambda, whether it is parameter or any constant, isn't it? So we cannot use that trigonometric formula. Is that clear?
Okay.
We cannot use sine of pi minus theta formula here because the lambda term is there, which is arbitrary constant. Then what to do?
Sin A plus B formula.
Sin A plus B.
Sin A plus sin B.
Okay. Sine, you mean we should use that sine of A plus sine B, I mean, or 2 times sine A sine B formula, but that will get the required result. Sine of this, sine of this, cos of this. Okay, anyways, let us substitute this f of lambda into its integral form and we'll check what we are getting. So the integral representation of this is f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity. Just a minute. हाँ सर, हॅलो. अच्छा, माझं लेक्चर सुरू आहे, लेक्चर झालं की येतो. ओके. Okay, minus infinity to infinity, f of lambda. So this whole f of lambda will write 1 upon 1 minus lambda square into cos of, okay, cos of lambda x plus cos of lambda into pi minus x plus what I'm doing, I'm separating this integral over these two parts, plus I in I times 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity sine of lambda x upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda. Okay, d lambda is there here, also it is d lambda, please note d lambda, right here, d lambda plus 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity sine of lambda into pi minus x upon this the whole upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda. Is that okay with this? Is that okay? Is this step okay? Is there any problem with this step? Please ask. Is there any problem? I've just substituted this f of lambda into this term into the integral, because what the integral formula is, f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integral f of lambda into e raised to I lambda x d lambda, isn't it? So I have calculated the value of this complete and I have substituted into the formula. Please check. Now what I'm trying to show you is that as we know sine, see here the variable of integration is lambda, right? Lambda. Here also the variable of integration is lambda, and as it is minus infinity to infinity two-sided interval or both sided interval, and since we know sine function is odd, right, and integration of odd function in two-sided interval will be what? What is integration of odd function in two-sided interval? Hello. What is the integration of odd function in two-sided interval? Am I audible? Hello? Hello? Nehul? Nehul, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So what is the integration of odd function in two-sided interval, Nehul?
Sir, two times of one side.
No. See, integration means, first of all, integration means area under the curve, right? Let us take example of sine. Huh? Or let us take the example of x function. Is it odd function y equal to x? Is it odd function y equal to x? Nehul,
Yes.
unmute your mic, please. Y equal to x is odd function, right? We all know that. So let us check the integration of y equal to x in -1 to 1 in two-sided interval. So what is integration of odd function? If I take y equal to x dx in -1 to 1, check once. What is the value of this integration?
Zero.
Is it 0? How will it be 0? Check that integration of x is x square by 2 from -1 to 1, right? When I substitute x is equal to 1, it will be half. And when I substitute x is equal to -1, it will be minus of half, isn't it? So that will be 0. Is that okay? So what I'm trying to show is that graphically, see here, I know the graph of the function. Is it visible? Okay. Graph of y equal to x is the straight line passing through origin. And I'm taking -1 to 1 interval, right? So integration means area under the curve. So if I consider the area under the curve from -1 to 1, then these are the areas. I hope it is visible. All right. When I count the complete area in -1 to 1, how that area I am calculating? I'm evaluating this positive part, and that will get cancelled out with this, because integration is nothing but the continuous summation of areas, isn't it? So here this part will get cancelled with this, and totally I'm getting 0. Always remember, you might have heard also, and you might have used also in M2 in multiple integrals, that integration of odd function in two-sided interval is always 0, and integration of even function in two-sided interval is 2 times from 0 to positive. Is that clear? So integration of this odd function in two-sided interval will be 0. This is also 0 because of sine. You'll say, what about denominator? It is even, right? But odd into even is again odd. So that is why the whole integrand will be odd function. So these two integrals will be 0, and that is what we wanted actually. We don't want those two terms. Is it? So why that should be clear, please. Please ask if any doubt that why I'm considering these integrals are 0. You can write the explanation that since sine is odd function and the integration of odd function in both sided interval or two-sided interval is 0, therefore these two integrals are 0. I'm not going to write separately. Yeah? You have to write. Therefore these two integrals equal to 0, and therefore what I'm getting, fx is equal to, therefore fx is equals to 1 upon 2 pi integration from, yes, minus infinity to infinity. Okay. One more thing. As we have taken integration of odd is 0, and as cos and cos are even function, so their integrals in two-sided interval will be 2 times from 0 to infinity, isn't it? So I am writing that also. So 2 times from 0 to infinity. Okay. 1 upon 1 minus lambda square, or I am writing this as a numerator, cos of lambda x plus cos of lambda into pi minus x upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda. So is it the required one? You can check. That is what the first part we have asked to prove. Is that okay? Fx is equal to 1 upon pi integral from 0 to infinity cos of lambda x plus of cos of lambda into pi minus x upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda. So such questions will be definitely asked in theory examination now for 5 to 6 marks. Why? That should be clear. Please ask if any doubt. Now think over the next part to prove. How do we get that part?
Sir, we can use f of pi by 2.
Which rule?
We can substitute x equals to pi by 2.
If we substitute x is equal to pi by 2, all right.
Then we will have f of x is f of pi by 2, which is 1.
Exactly, correct. When we substitute fx is equal to or x is equal to pi by 2 into original function, then sine of pi by 2 will be
1.
no, sorry. At x is equal to pi by 2, sine of pi by 2 will be 1, correct? And therefore fx is equal to 1. And we are taking that pi 1 upon pi to the left hand side, so that will be pi by 2. But how that 2 comes? You're right.
Sir, from cos lambda pi by 2 plus cos lambda pi by 2.
Correct. 2 cos terms are there. So the addition will be 2 times. 1 upon, for x is equal to pi by 2. Sorry, for x is equal to pi by 2. F of pi by 2 will be equals to 1 upon pi integral from 0 to infinity cos of lambda pi by 2 plus cos of here pi minus pi by 2. So pi minus pi by 2 will be pi by 2, and that is again lambda pi by 2 upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda. So this will be 2 times. Right? So cos plus cos will be 2 cos, so that will be 2 by pi integral from 0 to infinity cos of lambda pi by 2 upon 1 minus lambda square d lambda, and that is equal to f of pi by 2. But what is f of pi by 2? If you look at the function is fx is equal to sine of x in 0 to pi. Fx is sine of x in 0 to pi, isn't it? And it is 0 otherwise. So this x is equal to pi by 2 lies in this interval. And for that value of x, the function value is sine. So sine of pi by 2 will be f of pi by 2 is sine of pi by 2, which is 1. And we'll use that here. And therefore, we take this 2 by pi to the left hand side, and that is what the required thing we want. So this is very important question. Please take a screenshot of these problems 5 to 6. You have to solve these problems. Take a screenshot of this. And then next also. Now you have to solve this question number 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. The last topic, that is examples on Fourier equations, or sorry, integral equations, we'll discuss in next lecture. We'll stop here today. But remember, you have to solve all these examples we have left. Okay. In question number 3, I've given the homework as a sine integral. Then question number 5, 6, 7, 8. Do one thing, you just solve these questions which I have given for the homework and upload them on the Google Classroom. Okay, I'll count your performance and then I'll give the marks also, remember. And you can ask your doubts if any. Thank you then. I'm going to stop now the screen.